What is up, everyone? It's David. Welcome back to Gem Mint MTG. So today is going to be a fun day. I love when stuff like this pops up. These are my favorite types of videos to do. So we just had an Ice Age Jester's Cap sell for over $700, about 750 bucks altogether for this Ice Age Jester's Cap. I see stuff like this, and part of me is like, this is crazy. Who the heck would buy this? This is such a waste. But then part of me is like, well, how often do these come up on the market? How many of these actually exist? And it kind of got me thinking. And so I want to go through a few things on this sale and just kind of talk about it, sharing the fun on this one. If you appreciate content like this, I'd appreciate your subscription to this channel. It's the best way to support this channel with just a click of a button. So hit that subscribe button and join in the fun. All right, that out of the way. So Ice Age Jester's Cap sells for about 750 bucks. Now, you might be thinking this person, whoever bought this, is crazy, and I'm dying to know if one of you bought it. If one of you mad lads bought this, please post it in the comments because I'm dying to know who picked this thing up. James, was it you? I have a feeling it might have been JC. I know he loves the card. I could totally see him being the one who bought this. But I took a look at the pop report on this, and I'll put it up on the screen. There's only 4 of these that exist in the entire world. That's a pretty low population for PSA 10s. And then Beckett's not that much better. Beckett, there's only 7 or 8 9.5s. There's no 10s, and only one of the 9.5s, I think only one of them was an actual quad. So that's a pretty low population. When you have to think about, this card was, the most popular card when it came out in 95, 96. When this card was hot, everybody wanted it. I remember cracking packs of Ice Age, just dying to get this card. It just, at the time, just seemed so powerful that you could basically remove 3 cards from your opponent's deck. I mean, that was pretty much unheard of at the time. There was really no effect like that. And, if you're facing the right deck, that can be pretty devastating, especially if it's like a combo deck or something that relies on, a few key cards. So it got me thinking. It got all kinds of things stirring. Everybody's so concerned about Magic the Gathering and the future of it. Magic's dead. Investing in Magic's dead. These high-end cards are going to fall off a cliff. Look at cards like this. Clearly there's something going on here. If there's somebody out there who's willing to spend, over $700 on a freaking $5 card in PSA 10 condition. So this card, we didn't use sleeves back then. Nobody ever thought of grading cards like this. Condition was an afterthought. Obviously we tried to keep our cards good, but I mean, we were shuffling up raw cards, and everybody wanted to play this card. And Ice Age print quality, just in general, was pretty low. Ice Age, Homelands, Fallen Empire, it's just kind of like that dark time, 95-ish of Magic. The print quality sucked. So there's really not that many of these that exist that are still in good condition. Everybody wanted to play with the card. Everybody wanted it. It traded hands. It got shuffled up. The print quality to begin with was really low. So finding these is really, really difficult. And it made me think about something that when I did that talk with James Curry, shout out James if you're watching this video, but he said something that really stuck with me, and I think now is a perfect time to revisit that idea and talk about it. And he said that one of the things that you have to take into consideration when you're trying to evaluate how much a card should be worth, because there's certain things that are pretty easy to kind of gauge how much a card is going to be worth. If you have a PSA 9 Mox Diamond, I can guarantee you, if you put that card up for auction, it's going to sell for about 25, maybe around 25% more than the card is worth raw in near mint condition. There's certain cards like that. Dual lands always sell for a little bit of a premium. These things are predictable. There's a history you can follow, a pattern you can follow. They're pretty easy to kind of triangulate what a card like that would sell for on the open market. But what James said is, for certain cards, the way you have to look at it is, what would it take in today's environment to actually produce a card of that grade? Meaning, how many raws would you actually have to sift through? How many would you have to submit to actually get that grade? And when you think about it from that perspective, certain cards like this, an extremely popular card that has a lot of history behind it, for being like an iconic card. I mean, it was on pretty much every type of like advertising material. Everybody wanted it. It's got really cool artwork. It's got a unique ability. And to James's point, what would it take to replicate that PSA 10? How many raws would you have to go through? How many would you have to submit to get that? And when you think about it like that, this price tag probably makes sense. You would, if I have had to put a number on it, if I wanted to find a PSA 10 Jesters Cap raw, I'm guessing I'd have to look through hundreds of copies of near mint cards. People say are near mint. I would guess that it would be hundreds. And when you look at like that, let's say it would take 100 copies of that card to find one in PSA 10 condition. If this card is selling for $5-10 in near mint condition, multiply that by 100, this card is worth $500 to $1,000. So it's selling for around $700-800, is right in that range, and it makes sense. Like it seems crazy. It seems totally nuts that somebody would pay $700 for a PSA 10 Jesters Cap. But I mean, look at the population. There's 4 of them. There's 4 in the whole world. And if you want to be the person that tries to find the next one, good luck. Because Timmys like me have gone on that journey. It's not fun. It's an agonizing experience trying to find cards like this in the wild that are grade worthy. And so, as crazy as it seems that someone would pay over $700 for an Ice Age Jesters Cap, I think that it makes sense, and I don't think it was a bad buy. In fact, I could see cards like that really, really aging well. People now that grading is getting more and more popular. Something you have to think about is, grading has been going on for a while. I don't pretend to be like a sage in this area who's been grading since 2012 or something like that. But only in the last few years grading has become really popular with the collecting community of Magic the Gathering. And being just a few years into it, even if you go back and say, okay, it started in 2012, 2014, whenever it was. I wasn't grading back then, so I can't tell you, exactly when this got started, but I'd say around 2018, 2019, it started to get a lot more popular, and then during the pandemic, it just really, really got popular. But when you think about that, like in the grand scheme of things, this hasn't been going on all that long. Magic's been around since 93. We've really only been grading cards for 5-10 years. So think about Magic collecting, how crazy it's gone in the last 30 years. And think about how cards like this and graded collecting are going to be in 10, 20, 30 years. In 10, 20, 30 years, what's the population of PSA 10 Jesters Cap going to look like? There's 4 now. Do you really think there's going to be 400? I don't. No way. Is there going to be 40? No, probably not if I had to put my money on it. Like, there might be a few more that come up. But, there's only so many of these things that get graded. There's only so many that exist out in the wild that are ever going to be, PSA 10 worthy. So I think that, when you look at it from that perspective, that this card really is worth that much money. And I could see it going for more. I could see in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, this being $1,000 card. $2,000 card. I know it seems totally crazy, but at the same time, if someone was to tell you that, oh yeah, go back a few years, someone's going to buy a Jester's Cap for $700. They would have said you're nuts. They're never gonna happen. That's crazy talk. There's no Timmy in the world who's that much of a Timmy that would pay $700 for an Ice Age Jester's cap. But you fast forward time and everything, and the way that grading has evolved, and the way that raws have just disappeared from the market, and all the near mints have been sifted through, and there's people who have been, there's multiple people that I know of that absolutely love this card and have bought tons and tons of raws trying to find nice ones. I'll be honest, like I've had a few Jesters caps. I haven't gone like totally crazy and really tried to find one, but like I've tried to find grade worthy Jesters caps. It's really, really, really hard. And yeah, so I it doesn't surprise me that this card sold for this much. I think it's an awesome sale. Like stuff like this just gets me really excited, and I love talking about it. And I'm dying to know if someone who's watching this video got the card or knows who got the card. It's a small world. Maybe someone out there, got that card. And if you are out there, I think it was an awesome buy. I really like that the really high price tags aren't just limited to, ABU, Four Horsemen sets. Like I've been an advocate for the, kind of like the lesser known, less appreciated sets ever since this channel started. I love Ice Age. I love the Mirage block, Tempest block. I feel like that is an underappreciated, undervalued part of Magic that is, slowly starting to get more and more appreciated over the years. And I think that there's no better card to represent that than the Ice Age Jester's cap. All right, so that's my thoughts on this sale. I'd love to hear what you think about it. Let me know what you think. If you think the person who bought this is just a total Timmy, this was a waste of money, there's going to be a ton of more of these that come onto the market, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. If you believe that this price point is justified and that, this card could even sell for more in the future, I'd love to hear about that too. I love reading your guys' comments and kind of comparing them to my thought process and seeing, where we align and where we disagree. So, all right, that's it for today. I hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Till next time, have a great one.